to the Amplifying Leadership podcast. I'm very happy to have you join me today. My name is Tara Lehman, and I'm a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Life Coaching and Business Services. Barb, who is also my identical twin sister, and I started Twin Life Coaching and Business Services back in 2017 with a vision to help individuals and businesses achieve their goals, overcome their obstacles and challenges, and empower for change. For our leadership clients, we always aim to provide effective leadership coaching and workshops to help build employees and have greater talent in your organization. You can find more about all of our services at www.twinlifecoaching.ca. As this is my first podcast in our series, I thought I would start with my story. It's a great place to start, right? So I started my career in the trucking and transportation industry, which, by the way, is very male dominated even today. I started there over 23 years ago in customer service. Maybe a year and a half in or so, I was getting a little bit bored with the position. It wasn't the company, it was the position. And I wanted to do something more challenging and a little bit different. And our accounting technician position came open, which was mostly accounts payable, month-end processing type role. I had not done accounting before, except for 1 month of doing accounts receivable when I covered for somebody who was on a sick leave at a different company. So I had to open this door for myself. If I didn't open this door, I would not be where I am today. So I decided to go to our controller and ask him if I could please apply for this job and if they would consider me. And of course they did, because here I am today. And they did give me the position. And I was so excited to learn something new and have great challenges. So I don't have an accounting degree and I'm not registered as an accountant, but I have a huge accounting knowledge now because of that opportunity and me opening that door for myself. There were a lot of challenges to overcome throughout my years before I ended up running the Canadian Distribution Center. So I won't say it was easy to move into leadership. There were times when I was maybe overlooked because I was in Canada for other positions that were perhaps global. There was one time I remember harassment. Somebody, it's a temp employee, blowing kisses and such through the window at me and making faces. And thankfully, I had an awesome organization I worked for who took care of that, and the temp was let go, and other things happened. So I was thankful I worked for a great company that took some of these challenges of being a woman away so that I could continue to try to grow my roles and gain respect, again, in an extremely male-dominated industry. I did end up growing in various roles. Even when I came back from maternity leave, my position had changed and I became the pricing and quality manager, and eventually moving to a management position to oversee and help the president of the company in Canada to actually running Canada. I started with Twin Life Coaching and Business Services years ago with my sister back in 2017 on a very casual part-time basis. I loved doing it. And so when my leadership role in my company hit a ceiling, there was really no further place for me to go. And I love challenge and change. And unfortunately, the company wasn't able to provide me with anything else. So I decided it was time to leave and do what I love doing, which is coaching and consulting. So I also recently joined in November 2022 on a part-time basis a company called Net Women, where we focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion and bringing that into companies. So my focus there, of course, is to bring it to the trucking and transportation industry, to bring more knowledge, understanding, and even develop current programs people may already have further by helping leadership. With Twin Life Coaching, I now also have a leadership workshop series that I'm excited to to have and to help leaders, not only for professional development or reminders, but also to help people who are new leaders or leaders to be, or perhaps they're a manager or supervisor who isn't quite leading by example yet and needs some help. So I enjoy doing those types of things with the leadership coaching and workshops. There are a lot of challenges when it comes to companies who may be lacking some leadership or leadership development. And some of those problems, they can be high turnover. And the reason for that is because a leader and a manager are different. You can be a manager who is a leader, but you can also be a manager who is not. So if you have high rates of employee turnover, it could be that, your leadership or management team maybe isn't including everybody or hearing what they have to say or having conversations with them. And maybe they feel left out. That can go to higher costs, of course. Recruiting costs can be astronomical. And if you do have to let somebody go and there are severance costs, you also have to consider those. So the better that we can help our employees be by being great leaders, the better our employee turnover will be, and those recruiting costs will be reduced. We'll also have less innovation if we don't have a strong leadership team. We want creativity. We want ideas. We want innovation for our company. That's how we grow. That's how we become more efficient and effective and can reduce other costs. So if you don't have a great leadership team, or maybe you have a developing one, and that's fine too, you may be missing out on innovations and creativity and ideas sharing. People need to feel that they're welcome and heard. You may also have frustrated employees because if you're not willing or currently not hearing everything they say and accepting it, maybe you hear them and then that's it because the team decides that that wasn't a great idea. But you need to make sure your employees feel heard and appreciated. So even if the idea is something that perhaps is, say, out of budget, let that employee know. Maybe there's some other part of their idea that you can implement instead. And as I mentioned, there can be some issues with diversity, equity, and inclusion, or even harassment. So if you are not looking at having a diverse workplace where you can have great opportunities for innovation, creativity by having different backgrounds of different people behind you, and not just women versus men, of course, but also for minorities or people with disabilities or any other protected under the Human Rights Code. And of course, harassment will make, if it's not taken care of and you don't have proper policies in place, will absolutely lead to some sort of either mitigation or legal. Again, that's all cost problem. So when people ask me, what is my biggest piece of advice throughout my career moving into leadership and developing into the leader for the Canadian site in Canada, what is my key sharing piece of advice I give to everybody? Well, it's easy. It's communication. Okay, yes, communication is huge. There is so much information and so many things that I share about communication. But one of them that I feel is so important is listening. A great leader will listen to their team and all levels of employment as well, not just the leadership team. When we listen to what other people have to say, we allow them and invite them into our brainstorming. And if you have a diverse team, you are going to gain so many different ideas and viewpoints into something that could be frustrating for you. So if it's a safety concern, invite people who are not in that area. Maybe it's the manufacturing plant and you're trying to figure out how to have less safety risks around a manufacturing line. Why not invite somebody from the office? Why not invite somebody from a different line? Or maybe even someone who is a team leader supervisor, not just the high level management team or just your health and safety team. Bringing in a diverse group of people can help you see things you didn't see before. Their eyes are fresh to something. Ask them, how do you think that we can do this? Or what do you think about these three ideas that came to us? Listening to your employees and communicating effectively is so very important to a leadership role. It is like number one for me. If you are a great leader, you're communicating and you're listening. So if those are skills that you need to continually practice, that's what we're here for. But remember, active listening is a muscle you need to work. And there are so many different things in active listening. Let me give you one thing today. We all know there is the quote that you have two ears and one mouth so that you can listen more than you talk. But it goes a little bit further than that as well. If you're actively listening, you're not checking your email, you're not checking your text messages, you're not allowing interruptions to happen. So here are a few tips I'm going to give you today. If somebody comes to you as a manager or leader and wants to provide you with some feedback or have a meeting with you, get rid of the distractions. If you're in an office, close the door. Put your phone on DND. Close your email. Put a do not disturb sign on your door so other employees don't knock on it. Whatever you need to do so that you can give your full attention to the person that's there. And even if you do not agree with them, respect what they're saying. Do not cut them off. They need to be heard. And then you can ask some questions and you can provide some feedback, but always in a positive, professional way. All right. That is what I'm going to share with you today for my first podcast. I'm always looking for leaders who have some great stories, tips, or successes to share, or even leaders to be or want to be able to share their stories, their obstacles, and their successes as well. For me, becoming a leader took years, years and years. And there always are challenges and obstacles. So we want to learn from you what may have happened to get to success or what maybe you're currently going through. Please reach out to me to set up your recording today at tara@twinlifecoaching.ca. Thank you very much for your time today. And as always, I hope you gained some insights and maybe some great ideas to take back to your organization. Until next time, please be safe and be an amazing leader or leader to be.